Well, good morning, everybody. It is a Monday morning, and it's kind of a rainy Monday morning. Looks like it'd be nice if we'd get some appreciable amount of rain out of this, but I'm not sure that will happen. It's Monday, and it's August 31st. Today, we're going to end up this month of August. We're going to level up, as they've been saying online, for 2020. Let's see what happens in September. It could be interesting. It's been an interesting year, that's for sure. We are continuing our trip through Luke. Today we're going to look at the rest of what I actually wanted to talk about on Saturday, but I had to move quickly because we had the guys coming to deal with the building with the bats. And it's a good thing we did because they discovered we have a pretty healthy population of bats in this building, which is a little disturbing in some ways. But rest reassured, I think the guys did a good job, and hopefully the bats will be moving out, not getting back in. So that's the way it works. They go out, can't come back. So, at any rate, we're going to go through Luke chapter 2. We're going to look at verses 25 to 35 again, which is what the remainder of what I was hoping to look at on Saturday. We're going to move through this quickly because as soon as I'm done, I'm going to post this to the internet on YouTube and LinkedIn, and then I'm going to leave. Gail and I are going to drive to Sioux Falls. I'll take some books along and do some reading while she drives us there, and I might make a couple phone calls on the way. But we're going to go up and have lunch with our son to celebrate his birthday. So we were supposed to go up a couple weeks ago, and we weren't able to because actually one of the fellows that works, that's a bartender in the restaurant where he's at, came down with COVID, but they've apparently tested the rest of the staff, and nobody else is sick, and it's been a couple weeks now, and my understanding is that fellow's back to work already the last couple of days. So we're going to go up and have lunch with Creeth. Monday's his day off, and so that's what we're going to do. So let's take a look at Luke chapter 2, 25 to 35. And we've got another song, another hymn, if you will, here. Now there was a man in Jerusalem whose name was Simeon. This man was righteous and devout, looking forward to the consolation of Israel, and the Holy Spirit rested on him. It had been revealed to him by the Holy Spirit that he would not see death before he had seen the Lord's Messiah. Guided by the Spirit, Simeon came into the temple, and when the parents brought in the child Jesus to do for him what it was customary under the law, Simeon took him in his arms and praised God, saying, Master, now you are dismissing your servant in peace, according to your word, for my eyes have seen your salvation, which you have prepared in the presence of all peoples, a light for revelation to the Gentiles, and for glory to your people Israel. And the child's father and mother were amazed at what was being said about him. Then Simeon blessed them and said to his mother Mary, This child is destined for the falling and the rising of many in Israel, and to be a sign that will be opposed, so that the inner thoughts of many will be revealed, and a sword will pierce your own soul too. Okay. A song of promise, but a little foreboding, isn't it? For Mary and Joseph at least, if not the rest of us in some ways. But here we have the Spirit, right? The Spirit mentioned a lot in this little bit of passage. He has had the Spirit, the Holy Spirit has rested on Simeon for at least a period of his life, if not the endurance of his life. And it was revealed to him that he was going to see the Messiah before he passed from this mortal coil. So he has believed that, and he has held that in his heart, and above all else, he has taken counsel and solace in that knowledge all his life. And now the Spirit has guided him to go to the temple on the very day that Jesus is there with his parents, and they are redeeming him as the firstborn son, and so here we have this going on, and he takes Jesus in his arms and has this hymn, this song of Simeon. Master, he's now dismissing your servant in peace. He knows that now he has seen that the Lord had promised him that he himself would see this Messiah, this the vessel of salvation, that Jesus is the vessel of salvation, not only for the consolation of Israel, the bringing together of all the Jews, but also a light for revelation to the Gentiles and for glory to your people Israel. So he's that promise. So it's interesting that we have here this promise not only to Israel that Simeon is lifting up at this point in time and in this Jewish temple, but also the reconciliation of all the world, the Gentiles as well. So I think that the thing that we can take from this is that we live in lives that sometimes, or not sometimes, seem to be constantly, don't they, buffeted about, and we have disappointments, and we have things that happen that that break our heart. And it's hard not to have a broken spirit, especially in this time when, on top of all the other silliness and craziness that life can throw at us, we've got all of this stuff with this uncertainty of the virus, and then all of these riots and these crazy people that are doing these stupid. I'm sorry, that's not politically correct, but destroying and burning and doing all these things, and flat out, there's no other way to describe it but stupid. It is. It's foolishness, utter foolishness, and it's recklessness. It's hedonism, and so it's something we need to deal with. We need to stop. But that's a earthly issue, and we're not talking about earthly issues at this very moment. We're talking about the spiritual realm. So on top of all that, we can get wrapped up in worried about day-to-day life and say, Lord, how are you going to get us out of here? How are you going to get us out of this mess? And we can look at the faith of Simeon, that he persisted. He knew that God would deal rightly with him in his lifetime, and we can know right. We can know as well, and we can be reassured and absolute confirmed that God will deal rightly with us in our lives. He will care for us, not always in the manner we prefer, but the way that God sees fit, and the way that God wishes to bring us to that ultimate goal of his. So if we live a life of faith as Simeon, holding on to the Spirit, we try to bring the Spirit into our heart as best we can, and to hang on to that Spirit, and if we take the guidance of the Spirit, we too will see the glory of God, just as Simeon did that day in the temple. What a glorious day it was. I mean, what can you imagine for him? So with that, I'm going to leave you with that blessing, though it does, the passage does forebode that Mary's heart's going to be broken. Even though she knows that her son is Messiah, you still have that knowledge that even though you know that, he is her son, and her heart's going to be broken to see him tormented and tortured and killed. But what a wonderful day she has ahead, the day she realizes he is risen from the dead, and he is truly the culmination of God's glory. So praise be to that, and we will see you tomorrow morning, 9 o'clock. We'll continue to work our way through Luke, and till then, have a wonderful day and be a blessing to someone today. We'll see you tomorrow.